Have you ever eaten food that just lacked flavor? No matter how much you chew, it just doesn't taste right. But then, a pinch of salt changes everything. Suddenly the flavors come alive. Salt enhances, transforms, and brings out the best in a meal. Now, imagine this in a spiritual sense. Just as salt enhances the flavor of food, Jesus calls his followers to enhance the world around them. In Matthew 5:13, he says, "You are the salt of the earth." But what does it mean to be the salt of the earth? It means that as believers, we are meant to bring goodness, truth, and the love of God into a world that often feels dull, tasteless, or even corrupt. Just like salt transforms a meal, we are called to impact our surroundings in a way that makes life richer and more meaningful. Salt does more than enhance flavor. It was used as a preservative. In ancient times, before refrigeration, salt was used to keep food from spoiling. Without it, meat would decay, rot, and become useless. In the same way, Jesus calls us to preserve goodness, truth, and faith in a world that is prone to decay. Without the presence of Christ's followers upholding righteousness, corruption spreads. The Bible reminds us in 2 Thessalonians 2:15, "Stand firm and hold fast to the teachings we passed on to you." We are meant to preserve God's truth, stand firm in our faith, and resist the forces that try to erode what is holy. Have you noticed the color of salt? It's white, symbolizing purity, righteousness, and holiness in the Christian faith. Isaiah 1:18 tells us, "Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow." Jesus calls his followers to be set apart, pure and untainted, just as salt is most valuable when it remains uncontaminated. Matthew 5:8 says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." Our faith is most effective when it is genuine, unpolluted by sin or worldly influences. Like salt, we must remain distinct from the world while bringing goodness into it. Did you know that salt increases the density of water, making it easier for objects to float? Just as salt holds things up when diluted in water, we are called to lift each other up. Galatians 6:2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Life can be heavy, but believers are meant to support one another, just as salt water prevents sinking. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reinforces this. Two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. When we gather, especially in times of trouble, Jesus is with us. Matthew 18:20 reminds us, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them." Salt also has the ability to resist and extinguish fire. In the same way, Christians are called to stand firm in their faith, unmoved by trials and victorious over sin. Isaiah 43:2 declares, "When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They stood firm, refusing to bow to idols, and God preserved them in the fiery furnace. Daniel 3:27 tells us, "The fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed." Like salt, we are called to be unshakable, unburned, and steadfast. 1 Corinthians 15:58 tells us, "Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord." But what happens when salt loses its saltiness? Jesus warns us in Matthew 5:13, "But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot." Pure salt, sodium chloride, doesn't actually lose its saltiness. But in Jesus' time, salt was often mixed with other minerals. If moisture or impurities contaminated it, what was left was a tasteless, useless residue. In the same way, Christians can lose their effectiveness when they allow sin, complacency, or compromise to dilute their faith. Romans 12:2 urges us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. A Christian who blends too much with worldly values loses their distinctiveness. They no longer influence the world for Christ, but become indistinguishable from it. Hebrews 2:1 warns us, we must pay the most careful attention so we do not drift away. We must stay connected to Christ, holding fast to his truth, so we do not become spiritually ineffective. So, what kind of salt will you be? Will you be pure, effective, and unwavering in your faith? Or will you allow yourself to be diluted, contaminated, or trampled underfoot? Jesus calls us to be the salt of the earth, a preserving force of truth, a source of righteousness, and a light in the darkness. Let's stay connected to Christ, stand firm in truth, and continue to preserve his message in a world that desperately needs it. Will you be the salt that remains faithful by Christ?